Hey everybody, Chris Maldonado here. So now that the Wii U is out, the PlayStation 4 is revealed, and now that the Xbox One is revealed, I think it's finally time to put in my 2 cents about the next generation. With the PlayStation 4 being kind of old news and the Wii U already being out, the main focus today is the Xbox One, and I'll get to the PS4 and Wii U in another video later in the week. So as we all know, the next Xbox, or as Microsoft is calling it, the Xbox One was unveiled today at a press conference, and the press conference itself was actually really terrible, but that's a good thing, and here's why. E3 is only 3, maybe 2.5 weeks away at this point, so it makes sense if you're Microsoft to not show any games whatsoever at this conference. It's also a good way to get the stuff that nobody likes at E3, the television integration, all that crap that the gamers don't really care about. It's a good idea to get that out of the way before the big gaming press event, so that way they don't have to actually spend any time on that. They've already got a press conference devoted to entertainment. It would be silly of them to have another one based on entertainment anywhere in E3. So before I harp on the Xbox One, I'll just share my positives, my pluses about the Xbox One. The controller and overall console design look really great. Ironically, the pictures of the controller and the console that Microsoft officially put out look really bad, but when you see the pictures of the Xbox One and the controller from the people who are there, it actually looks really pretty. It's actually a really nice looking system. And it's actually a really powerful looking system. That's another plus, is that the 8 gigabytes of RAM, I'm not sure the speed is, but I'm pretty sure it's GDDR3. The 8 gigs of RAM is really nice, and I love the power. And the next best thing to come out of the Xbox One conference, to me anyway, and it was the biggest thing, was the Halo television series directed by Steven Spielberg. That is fucking cool. Then again, I'm a Halo fan, so I'm sure that didn't resonate with a lot of people, but that moment, I actually jumped up and put my hands in the air. Spielberg plus Halo, beautiful. But of course, that was just me. The rest of the conference was shit, obviously, as we were expecting. Now let's get to the negatives. Although I do like the controller's overall design, I kinda wish they had kinda stayed a little bit more similar to the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 controller is near perfect. If they fix the D-pad, that thing is 100% the perfect gamepad in existence. But they went with a slightly different idea, and that's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not one of my major gripes. My biggest gripes are two things, and one of them is the interface and its overall RAM use. The Xbox One has 8 gigabytes of presumably GDDR3 RAM. This console is running 3 operating systems at once. It's utilizing Windows, it's utilizing the Xbox dashboard, and it's utilizing a third one to allow them to work in sync with each other, and it allows for fast switching, right? The guy switched from music to TV to movies to games immediately, and that kind of thing takes a toll on the memory. So the 8 gigabytes of RAM that the system supposedly has isn't necessarily all the memory that's going to be put into games, and that's kind of sad to me. The biggest gripe I have, though, is the name. And it's not necessarily a superficial thing. I don't mind that they called it the Xbox One. I don't mind the name at all. Fine, the name. But here's the problem with the name. It doesn't sound right, does it? The Xbox One specifically, that name specifically sounds like a peripheral for an already existing Xbox. The reason I'm worried about this is because name confusion does a lot to hurt a console. Anybody can point to the Wii U as a good example of that. Nobody understood what the Wii U was. Everybody thought it was a Wii peripheral when it was an actual new console, and nobody understood it. Nobody understood that, and it's in part because the way it was marketed, and a lot to do with the fact that it was called Wii U. So the name makes a difference, and that's what I'm worried about with the name. Honestly, I don't care. The Xbox One, it's fine. It's a bit confusing, because then when you're talking about the original Xbox, you have to say the original Xbox. I kind of used to say Xbox One, but now I can't. It's a strange name, but overall, it's not the name that bothers me. It's the confusion that goes along with it. Then again, I do not think it's going to be as big of an issue as it was with the Wii U. I think eventually people are going to understand this is a brand new console. It's way more powerful. It does more. It's too early to tell which console is going to end up being the better system, but honestly right now, barring the fact that the press conference itself was kind of terrible, it's starting to kind of look like the Xbox might actually come out on top. And I'm not saying that as an Xbox fanboy. I obviously, like, I love my Xbox 360, but I just genuinely think that the way they're going is the way that it's going to work for them. This press conference was all about the casuals and the people who would buy an Xbox for a cable machine, for a Netflix machine. It's that kind of audience, And I'll be honest, although I was more interested in video games, and although I was more interested in everything that they didn't show that's coming up for E3, I kind of liked the idea of being able to switch between movies and music and TV. I kind of like that. I dig it. And especially with the Kinect being bundled with the system and not being a separate add-on that you have to purchase at a later date, I really think that was a smart move. And don't forget, this GDDR, this RAM issue with the interface also goes into the PlayStation 4 too. The 8 gigabytes of RAM for the PlayStation 4 isn't necessarily going to be 8 gigs of dedicated RAM for the games. It's probably running a really powerful software on the PS3. Probably, I would even argue, an interface that's probably even more powerful than the Xbox One's, which means that the PlayStation 4 might actually have less memory to devote to actual games than the Xbox One might. But that's all speculation. At this point, we'll have to wait until we see any more details on either system. So that's my 2 cents about the Xbox One. Overall, the press conference was a bit of a letdown, but E3 is next, and now that they've gotten all the bullshit out of the way, I have a feeling Microsoft is going to have a killer press conference now that they don't have to worry about this media crap that Sony kind of still has to worry about, and their conference is probably going to be weighed down by all the stuff that we got to see today. Only theirs is going to be at E3, and I don't know, I'm looking forward to E3 most definitely, but I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about the Xbox One? Are you excited? I know I'm excited for every system in general. So we'll see how this turns out at E3. That's it. I guess I'm out.